You are now watching the Vision Channel, where Habakkuk 2 and 2 says, write the vision and make it plain, so they that see it can take it and run with it. This is the channel where faith and vision collide to bring forth manifestation. You're watching the Vision Channel.
Good evening, everyone. You are now tuning in live to Covenant Keepers. We're broadcasting from the Vision Channel. Tonight, I'm your host, Pastor Chandrea, and I'm here with Apostle Terrence Greer. And he is the host of Covenant Keepers that broadcasts from spiritradio.co. But tonight, we're going to be talking about the mysteries of marriage. I'm super excited about tonight's topic because I've been blessed to be married at this present time. And I know that God is going to reveal and unlock a lot of mysteries that we need in order to stay married, but as well give us the clarity and understanding behind the spiritual war aspect of marriage. I think a lot of times, Apostle, that's like the biggest issue within marriage within this world today, is the fact that we don't understand that marriage is not natural, it's spiritual. So I just believe that if we open up our hearts and our minds, we can see from a different perspective. And who better else to reveal the mysteries of marriage than Apostle Terrence Greer himself. Apostle, really briefly, how are you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. And yourself?
I'm doing great. How long have you been married?
Oh, wow. I've been married probably approximately half of my life.
Half of your life?
I'm actually 54 years of age.
Jesus.
Half of my life, I've been married. And God teach you things that are in the way. Please hear me. There are things that God will teach you from the kingdom. There's times that God will allow you to go back in time to show you how the first marriage was established, the second marriage was established, where God will put his stamp of approval on your unity or unification. He'll place a seal. Seals are not meant to be broken unless they are given by a king. And please hear me. I'm getting excited now, because people that are getting married are cupbearers. You have to carry your cup. You don't understand that requests are only granted when you can carry your cup. Are you a cupbearer of your own marriage?
Just from hearing you elaborate just from hearing you express what you just expressed, we're truly going to learn the method behind the marriage. You know, the world says it's a method behind the madness, but tonight we're going to learn the method behind marriage, and I'm super excited about it. So let's just dive straight in. What is the significance? I have two questions and one question. What is the significance of marriage, and what does the Bible say about it?
You know, I think that marriage has so many different attributes to it. When you're in reference to a significance of marriage, if people truly understood the purpose and the significance behind marriage is to always have you and heaven aligned. That heaven normally stays aligned with those who stay in line with it. That means I'll give you one of the secrets to marriage. One of the secrets of marriage, when the Bible said, wherever two can agree, as touching anything on earth that they shall ask, it shall be done by the Father which is in heaven. One of those attributes for marriage is that God wanted to make sure that the two people that was aligned was one. The marriage have to look like what unification looked like in heaven. When Jesus would say, me and the Father are one, well, him and the Father were one, what was in heaven. So when he sees that alignment in the earth, it mirrors the unification that's in heaven. So anytime there's an expression of something that's been said in the earth, when God can see its reflection, he looks at it in the marriage. And if he have to send a host of angels, if he have to remove demons, if he have to remove territorial spirits, because he see his image and his likeness in the earth, once he sees that, he placed the two people together, and his name is on it. Y'all, please hear me. His name is on the marriage. It's not our name. So if the woman takes the man's last name, what name does the man take? There is a system, a network. There is something that God does because his name is on the marriage. And so one of the significance behind it is that heaven backs you. The angels back you. His ear is attentive to the prayers that are made in that place because of unification. God looks at that place. So it's the same thing. The significance behind Adam and Eve getting married, because God was there. He established the first marriage. Y'all, please hear this, please. Do you know one of the most significant things that took place in the first marriage? That God made sure that he was there. He would bring the woman to the man, and the man, he will allow the man to name this bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh, right? That was the first marriage. But the second marriage, a miracle would take place in the first one. And a miracle would take place with the second one, that Jesus would now come to the first marriage. A miracle would take place. And if people truly understand that even when you get in difficult times, difficult seasons, or situations, the manifestation of heaven will come wherever there's a drought. Anytime there's a drought, the manifestation of heaven comes. The significance of marriage is that heaven is there. That heaven backs you. Angels back you. That the ears of God is attentive to you when you get in trouble with marriage.
My next question to you, Apostle, in reference to marriage. We're talking about marriage. But before we, I always like to, I'm not going to say I go around the mulberry bush, but okay. I like to bring clarity to all of our viewers, to all of our listeners. I like to bring clarity so that they can understand a little bit more in depth as to what marriage truly is and why it's so important, especially in this day and this time. And not to just get married out of feeling or emotion, but to actually understand that it's an assignment. So speaking about the assignment, how important is it to have an assignment when it comes to being married to someone?
Well, I think that's the purpose of the entire marriage. I think we get married for the wrong reasons. We get married out of passion, and sometimes the passion cannot produce the results that God desires to see, because we can't get productive when problems come. You cannot get past the passion. You cannot get past the problem because you were passionate from a fleshly place. And God never gave you the assignment. So you never had anything to focus on but you. But when you two don't like you two, what are you focused on? No, you don't focus on anything. You focused on the problem, and your passion cannot get you past the problem. When you didn't understand that God wanted you to be productive in the earth. That has been one of the greatest challenges, because I think at times we get married for two reasons. Well, three reasons. The first reason, we get married for status. A person's financial status, portfolio. We get married for that. And we get married not only for status, but we get married for stature. Yes, how a person is built. Yeah, how fine they are. Yeah, the physical makeup, status. And that because we don't have discernment to see what the spirit of that person is, so we end up losing our strength in those two, in status and stature. And when that goes away, we fade away because we got married on the false pretenses. Yes, we never got married on the foundation of Christ. We got married on a different type of structure. And we can't see the structure of the individuals. This is the greatest challenge that we have when it comes to some men or some women. That there was a secular group called Boys to Men. So we marry boys. Some women end up marrying boys who have the potential to become men, and they never convert. So because that person doesn't have, it's not programmed in him to be the image and likeness of God. Yes, the image of likeness of God is what identifies a man. What we call man now is a facade. The earth calls a man, he calls a male a man. But if that man doesn't reflect the image, and there must be a likeness, then he's not the man that God called you to be. And what happens, you married a boy that you'll have to raise to be a man. And that causes catastrophic waves in the relationship, because you married on potential, not on purpose.
Drop the mic. The pastor just dropped the mic right then and there. Just dropped the mic. As you were elaborating and speaking on the boys to men, even like women do the same thing. You have a girl turn into a woman, or girl to women. So it could be the same thing. But even in that, when it comes to, because a lot of people have this misconception.
You want me to elaborate on the women?
Go ahead, and
So,
then I'll come back.
I think the challenge when it comes also, men have to be careful because they marry women. Just hear me, please. They marry women who have bought their breasts and got a BBL. They got a new BBL and they got new breasts, but they still have an old heart. They have a wounded heart. So everything on them is brand new, but the heart is old, is damaged. That heart is depicted. So they marry someone who's a brick house, but don't know how to build one. A wise woman builds her own house, but it's the fool that tear it down with her own hands. So she has built herself as a brick house, but don't have the wisdom to build her own house. And that is one of the most deceptive marks that when it comes to relationship and come to marriage, because we are married flesh. Yes. What we do, we excite ourselves, and we like to marry flesh. And flesh doesn't signify future. So we think future when we see the flesh, but the flesh doesn't last long, so that it will give us and grant us access into the future. So we'll exit a season because the flesh was never converted over to the spirit.
Lord have mercy. Even right there, Lord have mercy. Thank you, Jesus. We're revealing, again, this is the mysteries of marriage. Mysteries of marriage, giving us clarity, insight on what truly goes on in marriage, what truly takes place. Why is it such a big struggle for a lot of the body to stay married? Because the world, as you can see, everyone is getting married. They understand that when two or more come together in unity, God is going to be there in the midst. But it seems like the more that they come together, the more the body tears apart, or it's a lot of divorce taking place. So again, it's one of those 2-in-1 questions. In reference to that, why is the body struggling to stay in unison? But also, is it possible that a lot of marriages had ended in divorce and they weren't supposed to?
Yes, absolutely. For one, marriages end in divorce because there's a demon. Yeah, there's a demon, there's a devil that's initiated in that relationship with the first marriage. With the first marriage, there was unification. With the first marriage, God was there. See, what the enemy hates, he hates unity. He hates the identification of people becoming one. Yes, not only becoming one with one another. And since he hates God, there's always a unification. You, God, and the other person that you're connected with, y'all align as one. So watch, the pattern of heaven is always mirrored after the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. There's a unity. So when you come together with your spouse, he only sees what he missed in heaven. He only sees you being one, functioning as one, and operating as one. He only sees that. But if people that are believers don't understand the purpose of when you get married, you're going to reach a dimension where the devil is waiting for you. So this is why divorce takes place, because people don't have the understanding. See, in the book of Ephesians, in Ephesians chapter 5, Paul makes a statement and say marriage is a mystery. So if you don't have an understanding of what mysteries are, you cannot get the mysteries of heaven if you're earthly minded. Yes, so the mysteries of heaven, Jesus said, for the mysteries of the kingdom is given unto you. So the mystery, marriage, is a mystery, and the understanding of it comes from heaven. And if you don't have the knowledge, the wisdom of the understanding of heaven, it's going to cause catastrophic waves in the earth, and the enemy will torment you when God has a sign for the marriage to bring breakthroughs, because you don't have the understanding. This is when the Bible said Satan comes immediately for those who don't have understanding to take the seed that was sown. The seed was marriage, and God had planted that marriage inside of the earth to bring forth fruit so that others can feast off the fruit. but they got frustrated in the season where the enemy brought difficulties, where he brought disaster, and the enemy eventually had them to divorce because they never had the understanding of what marriage is. They had a worldly view of it. So the reason why there are so many divorces in the kingdom, because people only have a worldly view of the marriage. You have been conformed to this world, and not knowing that you came into this world and you have conformed to how the world functions when it comes to marriage. So you don't understand what love is. Yet love for you, it only comes face value. Yes. It only comes with your flesh. It's fickle. So when somebody doesn't give you what you desire that day, then you desire not to be with them that day. That's a world point of view. But see, the love of the kingdom and having the understanding of what love is in the kingdom. Love covers sin. Yes, love has the ability to endure. Yes. Love does not puffed up. Love doesn't keep an account or an amount of how many times people have done something against you. If you don't have that understanding of what love is, you'll always fight the person and not move forward with the person because you never had the understanding of how God views love. It was only face value to you. And then the relationship is through. The first thing about a kingdom relationship is you have to understand what the kingdom thinks about it. What God thinks about that relationship of the kingdom. Can I give you one mystery about marriage when it comes to women? I'll give you one. One of the mysteries that when people get married, if you understand this from God's perspective, you're going to like this. You're going to like it. When a woman, the Bible says, and we use this almost as a billy club, because even those that are initiating and bringing the covenant between two, because marriage is a covenant. Marriage is a covenant. A covenant. And people have made it a contract because they don't understand what covenant means. A contract means you're looking for a loophole. Yes, a covenant means I'll stay here till I die. Yes, when you get into a covenant, that covenant is eternal. Because you didn't make a covenant just with that person. You made a covenant with Christ. It's eternal. So you're connected to the eternal even though you're in the earth. So you can bring things from the heaven to the earth because because of the covenant, not the contract. Just hear me. So when it comes to women, that word that everyone uses while you're getting ready to get married is submit. Wives, submit in Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 22 to 22. The Bible says, wives, submit to your own husband, right? It tells you to submit, but we don't give people the revelation or the mystery behind the word submit. Yes, so when you say, wives, submit to your husbands, if you do not understand the mystery that is behind it, you see, God can give you a mantle. Woo! Yeah. God gives you a mantle just through submission. Watch this. You think that you're just submitting to your husband, but not the husband. God is the husband according to John chapter 15 verse 1. Jesus said, I am the true vine, but my Father is the husband. Watch, please hear this. So before you ever submitted to the man, you had to submit to the one that created the man. Yes, so when you submit to the one that created the man, if he fashioned the man, God calls that man a king. He said the hand of the Lord, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. He turns it wherever he submit, right? He see fit. So if you're king, and you're that king, and you submitted to that king, to the first husband, it doesn't matter the damage of his heart. It doesn't matter if his heart has gotten hard. God can shift the heart of the king because you submitted to the first husband. Watch, and submission that women don't understand is the Bible said, submit yourself, therefore to God, resist the devil and he'll flee. You don't understand that submission will even have Satan to flee off of your marriage through submission. We don't understand the power of submission because it's not been presented to us in a kingdom fashion that even the enemy must flee. The word flee literally means to run. The enemy will run anytime he see you because he understands your submission. If women understood the power of submission, the power, watch this, that you submit to heaven's order in the earth. Watch this. You'll make the enemy submit. Tap out.
Kleenex. Thank you, Apostle. I truly, heaven is always open. Wherever you go, heaven is always open. But I truly believe right now that heaven is open over a lot of marriages right now. And because I know that you are a vessel, you're a servant when it comes to the things of God, when it comes to everything about God. But I truly believe because of what you're releasing, heaven is open over a lot of marriages right now. So if you are tuning in right now, be looking for it, because whatever you and your wife or you and your husband come to an agreement with on here on earth, it'll be done in manifested in heaven. So just wanted to get that out. But I'm trying not to be speechless about this. One of those moments. I gotta gather. I have to get it together. But as you were elaborating and speaking, you talked about love. And there's this I'll use the word misconception again. When it comes to love and marriage, a lot of people feel as though when they get married, they have to be in love immediately. Express and explain, because you did touch on it, but express and explain how that actually works. Because a lot of times when it comes to the assignment of God, when it comes to marriage, you're not going to always love that individual. You're not going to be in love with that individual. And a lot of people look for that, and their minds are open to, I have to love this person or be in love with this person in order for it to be what God has ordained. But for our viewers on tonight, please express and elaborate how that actually works. So can you grow? The question is, can you grow in love in marriage?
I think the challenge that people really don't understand, there are only two things that God requires for a husband and a wife. The wife, the definition is what I just expressed through submission. For men, he will tell them, men, love your wife as Christ loved the church, and he gave himself for it. So the first sign that a man is made, he's made to give love because he's been made love. It's a difference between intimacy and sex. Sex is to touch, but intimacy is to get in touch. Yes. So love itself is sacrificial. It's not selfish. And when you find men that are selfish, it's because they have never been made love. Love is to sacrifice. He said, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. This word love is where everything is found. Please hear me. When you and God have a relationship, he makes you him. I think the saddest thing for men is to become who you've never observed. If the Bible said God is a husband, he's the husbandman, how could you become something without first, studying who he was, studying how he was? How could you say that you are a husband